Alright, people, you know why you're here. Time for us to talk about another match video. As you can see, in this one I placed okay, but I placed really well when you consider that I was shooting the memeiest meme gun that I think I currently own. Let's get the admin stuff out of the way. This was a time plus penalties based scoring. Everything there is on the screen. My final time was 262 after about 20 seconds of penalties. Almost all of them C-zone hits. So this was a match where you were incentivized to slow down and actually aim. And for the most part, I did. All right, stage one here was mostly a bit of a memory stage. You had to engage paper targets from a number of positions that you could see from multiple positions. So um, I usually don't do too great at memory stages, but I can get through them.
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
Okay, so mistake. Dumb mistake. I unloaded to transition to pistol and then realized I forgot a target and picked up the mag off the ground, which is always slower. I have a perfectly good magazine on my belt that I just, ignored because I need mag and mag on ground. I see mag. I pick up mag. Lesson here, reloads off your belt are faster. Here I also thought I'd be clever and try to engage all of the steel targets from one position with an extreme lean, and it turns out I'm not as young as I once was, and I'm not as flexible as I think I am in the morning. So I spent a lot more time here trying to awkwardly negotiate an extreme lean than if I just shot at normal. Okay, let's talk about why I said I was shooting meme gun division. So this is a two-gun match where you can bring anything, no limitations on accessories or platforms. And I did this to myself, I chose to bring an iron-sighted Century Arms imported Galil. This gun is a basket case that I got in a trade a long time ago. Let's run through some features, right? So I replaced the broken firing pin that broke on my first outing with a gun. Yeah, I either bought it with a broken firing pin or I just have bad luck. I had to manufacture a new firing pin retaining pin out of a ground to fit drill bit. So that was fun. I wrapped the incredibly shitty metal folding stock in paracord to prevent temperature-related face torture. Magazines, I got like 8 magazines with a gun, and all of them are trash. They don't really present rounds very well, but they have weak springs. So I actually do have some new AR-15 Wolf extra power springs on the way. We'll see if that actually fixes the problem. No idea if it will. And I removed a Fab Defense handguard that was on the gun. It was too loose to hold zero. It could literally, visibly wobble in your hand. So I'm back to just the stock handguard. Now, as the chairman is helping me explain here, I've zeroed this gun at 25 yards. You can see what kind of extreme shift sight adjustment I had to put into that front sight to get it there. That sight still has a fair amount of side-to-side play in it, by the way. You can just kind of wiggle it with your hand a little bit. And finally, not to foreshadow anything, but it turns out that my handguard retainer pictured here can kind of work itself loose after about, a surprisingly small number of rounds. I didn't know that. Let's see what happens. This is a pretty simple stage where you had to engage 4 targets with 2 shots each from 3 different positions. Now, as I get into position here, you'll see in a second that my handguard my handguard retainer falls off the gun mid-course of fire, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to stop me for nothing. So I continue shooting, but what's happening here is that the gun is I'm just holding on to the handguard, which is just resting in my hand. It's not retained on the gun in any way right now. So there's a good bit of weeble wobble in the old sight picture, and the handguard is now basically a very stiff glove.
I don't need a handgun. I got some duct tape.
Good job.
Shooter, are you?
All right, so over this stage, I'll talk a little bit. So we had to engage targets from 1 to 300 yards from 3 different positions with a bonus target at 400 yards. I had never actually shot iron sights on this gun past 25 meters before this match, and actually, truthfully, I've never shot iron sights in a match at all before this. I've always shot limited, but with a dot because, you know, what is this, 1976? Um, I was pretty proud of the fact that I was able to finish this stage on mini IPSCs at those distances in this hemisphere at this time of day, located entirely inside your kitchen.
Go! Go, bud! Come on! One, two. Hit. Two. Go for the bonus.
And here you'll see I actually just have a failure to feed because of the magazine failing to be able to push rounds up fast enough due to those weak springs I mentioned earlier.
Hit.
That's the hit on the 400.
Not bad. Not.
One thing I'll add over the last stage here, which is just another memory stage, there's not too much else for me to talk about, is that shooting irons on this rifle was really interesting to me because it was much more challenging than I thought it would be, given my limited practice at home. Natural lighting positions, such as when like the light was coming at me, or I was shooting in shadow, or the target was in shadow and I was in light, were significantly more challenging than I thought they would be. Some closing thoughts here. Remember your stage plan. It doesn't have to be the world's most complicated or lengthy stage plan, but if anything does happen that you didn't plan for, don't let that throw you off. Don't revert back to caveman thinking at the first sign of trouble. Know the roles and how to play them. I probably could have shot this just a little bit slower to pick up a few more A zone hits. Those C zone hits at 2 seconds each are substantial penalties, right? Actually, I could have moved myself up one or two places by aiming a little bit better. And finally, meme rifle is best rifle. I actually had more fun shooting this rifle in this rifle heavy match than I really even thought I would. You build great camaraderie with your shooting squad when you bring something weird and different to a match like this. It's a really refreshing and different challenge. And all around, this was actually some of the most fun I've had in a little while doing shooting stuff. So I highly recommend it. Dust off the weird stuff in the back of your closets, people. All right. See you next time.